Hi. Hi, everyone. I want to,
Susan or Kelly?
oh my goodness. Sorry. I need to,
My goodness.
I know. She's got perfect timing, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Let me turn this down. Okay. Because she's
All
going
right,
to keep trying.
All right. There we go.
That's
I have it
Mom.
muted on mine. That was Mom. Always perfect timing.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Let me text her
Welcome.
really quick and let her know that we're on live
Okay.
so that
Thank
she
you.
doesn't keep trying.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. And I'm going to mute this. Hi, beautiful. Hi, it's so good to see you. Thank you. Today, your mom is the same. They always have the best timing. Yeah, today is it's going to be another one of those real talks. Hi, Selena. Thank you. And right back at you. Angela. Hi. Oh, Courtney, thank you so much. You guys are wonderful. And Jess, look at everybody. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. And Carolina, thank you. I hope everybody has had a good morning so far and had your coffee or tea or breakfast. And Darla, hi, thank you. Oh, so yeah, everybody is, I think, been following a little bit of, the stuff that we've been talking about. And I think there's some extra stuff going on and stuff that's been happening with, like maybe a result of the last video that we did together.
Hence the banner down below, guys. Okay.
Yes.
Know your own emotional health limits, please.
Yes. And you all know my beautiful sister. I'm not sure if I'm pointing to her because I'm looking at it on StreamYard, but the beautiful woman next to me.
Thank you.
Michelle.
Right back at you. Thank you.
So yeah, we want to talk about some really deep stuff, and I just want to say how appreciative I am of all the support that Rachele and I have received.
Absolutely.
Debbie's here. Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
It means a lot, and I can't really express it, but it means a lot.
And guys, I just want to say this right up front. If we get emotional, please excuse us because we have been emotional. Oh my gosh. I mean, like sobbing, crying face emotional since we've been back in touch with each other. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So, and this is live, so expect it.
Yep. Yeah. Hence, no eye makeup because I have allergies. And it's I mean it's been nonstop, and my eyes can't take it.
My eyeliner is up on top, not on the bottom.
Well, I got, not to gross anyone out, but I get really bad eye boogers. So they're the kind you pull off.
Oh,
and
stop. Stop.
Oh, that's the icebreaker. Get everybody, comfortable. Anyway.
Oh.
So, ew. It is ew. It is, yeah.
It's nasty.
Especially when it snaps back and hits me in the face. But.
Stop it.
Okay, so Rachele, you have such an eloquent way of speaking. I was hoping that maybe you could guide us, please.
Okay. Dingleberry. How many times have we used that? Like dingleberry jam?
That's because she is our sister for sure.
Yes, she is.
She knows.
And I'm sorry, guys. I'm still dealing with like residual coughing because when I was sick, I mean, I was like practically coughing up my lungs. It was so terrible. So there's going to be some of that as well. The reason why, yes, you are our sister. The reason why we are sharing this video is because of how another person was so triggered by our first musings on our experiences and our thoughts around narcissistic abuse and the terms around really using that narcissistic or that's a narcissist, this is a narcissist, and just trying to bring a little bit of our own understanding and compassion to the topic because we have experienced it ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And this person is also now, because of us talking about what we did, and you know how this person technically narcissistically abused me. Okay. If I were to show that to a therapist, that would look like narcissistic abuse because I was gaslit, I was talked down to in a horrible manner and dismissed. So that is narcissistic abuse. And, but do I think that that person is a narcissist? I'm not qualified to say that that person is a narcissist. I would rather like to see that she responded because she is hurt, because she has also suffered narcissistic abuse.
Right.
Okay. That was the whole point of our video to begin with, is to look at people beyond labels and look at people for their wounds, because I don't know one person that doesn't come from a place of being wounded,
Yep.
truly. But in no way, if you really are being abused or have suffered from the hands of a narcissist, no way am I saying that you brought it on yourself or that it is okay. No way am I saying that you should squish your voice. I have never ever said anything like that. And if that's what you heard in that video, I am sorry that you are in such a wounded place that that's all you see. Okay? I am sorry because we all suffer. We all have suffered from, yes, yes, different stages of healing. Absolutely.
Yep. And why is that? Because we all have those tendencies when we are hurt, when we have been traumatized. That's because, when somebody we love is wounded and is projecting from that place, the possibility of narcissistic abuse is very, very prevalent. It happens to all of us,
Oh,
and no one's pain is greater than another because who knows how that affects us.
exactly. Exactly. And this person, when they did reply right after the video, so it's very obvious that they were watching it, or at least in parts. Exactly.
Mhm.
That, I mean, first of all, they said, it's such hypocrisy that you're doing these buddy videos with your sister now. I mean, that in itself, buddy videos, the terminology even used is like, you know, sisterhood wound, which is what Ravneet
Yeah,
said in her comment, that she thinks it's probably sisterhood wounds. And I do think that that is definitely
I
part
do
of it.
too. Yeah, and we understand.
Exactly. If
Exactly.
anybody should have been upset with me, honestly, during that period of time, it's that lady right there,
Yeah,
Courtney, because she was the biggest person that I came to and just cried and cried. I mean, we didn't, it wasn't just chat. I mean, it was, it was a long time. Okay. And she also worked through a lot of her stuff. And that's what girlfriends do, right?
yep.
But the
We
thought
put
of
people in the middle unintentionally because we needed somebody
to talk
just,
to,
yeah, to vent.
and we're human beings,
Exactly. What
right?
none of that was intentional, and they were there for us, and thank God that we had somebody to do that for us.
That's why sisterhood is so important. But for then that person to use it against you, it is like the ultimate friggin' betrayal, right?
Yes, it is.
This person also told me a lot of stuff. If I had seen them reconnecting with a family member, who am I? Who am I to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to point the fingers. Look at what you said about that person. It's because I
Absolutely.
understand out of the gate that that came from a place of pain, right? It's about opening ourselves up to hearing and listening from a place of compassion instead of putting titles on people. Exactly. So that is really what started this whole thing.
Yep.
Okay. Carla and I, for someone to say that, does not understand the kind of pain that we went through.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Carla has always been my person.
And
And
you
that's why it
mine.
was so hurtful.
I left my sister a lot of voice messages that she never got whenever I was going through something because she was always my go-to. And it this silence was heartbreaking for myself, and I didn't have that. And for someone to
Diminish that.
yeah, that was painful in itself too, because I'm like, oh my goodness. And that was part of like, we just need to talk about this. We really need to talk about it because it's been this right here is not it's not sadness as much as it's just
It's
releasing all the
and
past.
happiness that we're back with each other again.
Yep.
That's why my light is coming back because she's part of my light.
Exactly same. I know you guys have noticed it. We're like on cloud 9, you know? I mean, I'm
Exactly.
so grateful.
And another reason why we wanted to talk about it because if we would have stayed in that energy of the other person is a narcissist because we said the other person was a narcissist. I
Yeah.
called Carla a narcissist and she called me a narcissist, okay?
Yep.
Because we were watching all of those videos that we were talking about, right? And the advice that they give you is don't ever contact that narcissist again because they're just gonna unleash it on you. So that does cause division. And another thing that I want to talk about really quick is in this person's video on spiritual gaslighting, which is what she said our musings on narcissism was. She was referring to us for a lot of people that don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is contextual. If you really know the truth, everything is contextual.
She
Okay.
used a lot of our words, sis.
Like the division, like that we're causing division. No, when people are not willing to look at their own parts in any relationship, and that means me, okay? That means me when I'm not willing to, and I just keep on operating from a place of pain, I'm just going to keep on putting terms out there because it is so prevalent. It is like that, the it word now. And if somebody says that it's not, then they're not paying attention. Okay. I'm sorry.
And
So,
don't you think like for myself, you know, and I hear a lot of people use the word victim, and how you choose to identify with your pain or identify with who you are, that's all about you. And no one has a right to say anything about that.
mhm,
Myself, I don't want to be a victim. I feel like I'm not going to let my pain define me because I am so much more than that. My pain is not who I am. I am so much more
much
than that.
more
And
than that.
I want to work through
Exactly.
the pain. I want to be, because everybody goes through these things, and I want to
Exactly.
share the healing. I want to share that. I want to share what it feels like to let go of it because I'm happy about that. And it
Exactly.
didn't come from not working on it. It didn't come from toxic positivity. It came from going into the dark and working through it.
Seeing the darkness. That's what it is. But I think honestly, again, if you are somebody that suffered from true narcissism, okay, that video wasn't for you to begin with.
Right.
It was about the people that use it so loosely. That was the whole point about that video. And we are those people. And that's why we wanted to talk about this, because we let those projections, we let those things interfere with us finding our way back to each other for the longest time. Sis, my sweetheart, what was the biggest thing for you about finally just letting the anger go and letting, what was it?
You mean between you and I?
Yeah, because even though I knew that you were hurting, I would see videos on your channel, just like you would see videos. And we know each other so well. We know when we're being passive aggressive and that a little itty bitty little thing was in that video for the other person. Or it might have been for something else that they were going through, but we took it as it, we projected that on ourselves. That was another problem, right? What was the turning point for you when you just stopped doing that?
I've talked about it a little bit on my channel. Uh, is and it didn't really have anything to do with what you and I were going through, but it was something that happened. It, it's hard to talk about because I talk about the time is now and living in the moment. That's, you know, um, I was in my husband that died, my ex-husband. He would never got a diagnosis, but he would have definitely fit the term of a narcissist. And, I met Ed when I was like 19 or 20. And, I had 3 beautiful daughters with him. And it was a messy, messy marriage, a horrible divorce, and a lot of tug of war between the kids. And at the end of it, we all suffered trauma from it. And pretty much his daughters weren't talking to him near the end, and he found out he had cancer. And as much as I knew, I mean, we'd all been in therapy, as much as I knew that it was hard for them to talk to them, I was like, do you really, really want him to pass without at least trying to get some type of closure? Because I feel like this, even though it's hard, it's kind of a gift. He's given a little time.
Yes.
And so it was hard, but they finally did. And we were all there when he died. And it was hard, but he was one of those people that we had to understand that we weren't getting closure from him. It was accepting that he was still, for myself anyway, I'm speaking about myself now. My girls have their own healing from this and what they're processing from it. But it was like, I still saw him as that broken little boy when he died. And that's why it was so easy for me to forgive him, because I saw him as the broken little boy, and I can't even tell you the trauma that he experienced, and all of that horrible pain came out and was projected onto his family all the time. Even his brothers finally, and his sister. I mean, he was estranged from his family. They all came together and showed him forgiveness that, you know what? Someone on the outside would have said, no, he did not deserve that forgiveness, but we didn't do it for him.
Exactly.
We did it I did it for me, and I was encouraging my girls to do it for them, because when they're gone, you're not going to get that chance. And so, I'm not telling anybody how to do
Right.
it, because that's how I did it. But it definitely helped. And you know what? My my girls are still processing the damage that was done.
Mm.
And you don't, the pain does not go away. It doesn't. But yes, the forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. But that was when I realized, no matter what, I could not imagine.
Look what Amber said, Sissy.
I once had someone say, "Who told you it was wrong to love someone? Even if some people don't mean well, doesn't make you any less of a being for loving someone who isn't a nice person." Wounds repeat.
Exactly right.
Love is messy. Love is,
Exactly.
but it's because of who we are, and we're human, and we all make mistakes, and sometimes it does take somebody loving you to grow from that, to support you. Not always are we helping if we're an enabler, but I mean, that's why we got to have our own boundaries. Boundaries are so
Mhm.
important, because if we don't have the boundaries, then it's, we're not always ready for things. So those boundaries protect us as we grow, as we progress. And then we have these boundaries, you know, and maybe we can ease up on it when we are able to handle certain things, but that only we know when that time is. And I could not imagine something happening to my mom or my sister, and not let them know how much I love them. And it was, I had to look at myself too and be like, you know what? I'm no better than anyone else. I make
Nope.
all these same mistakes. And when I'm hurting, I project. It's,
No.
and just like we talked about, you don't have to be a narcissist to narcissistically abuse
You
somebody.
somebody. Exactly. Exactly. For me, I think the biggest thing
Thank you.
was I would see if something happened to Carla. And that because of us being estranged, that I couldn't go to her memorial or go to her funeral,
Yeah.
or that any of that would have been left unsaid, and that you held it in your heart that I didn't love you anymore,
I know.
which is
I,
the
I,
furthest from the truth.
I did not ever think that. I knew that you loved me. I just knew that it was hard for you, and I didn't want to push it. There were times that I gave up, but it was because I had to. You know what I mean? I had
Mm,
to protect myself. It was one of those boundaries things. And then and then it was like, okay, I can't give up no more. I got to try again. And
mm.
just by the grace,
It was actually Debbie's. Debbie had a hand in that, Debbie. I hope you realize that. Because of the giveaway that you did on your channel, Carla won the giveaway and
yeah,
it forced us to talk to
that's
each
true.
other again.
It's true.
So, Debbie, you were the catalyst. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
And another reason I
And I'm
just
so,
love you so much. Oh my God.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
But
Yeah.
the thought of that, absolutely. I couldn't talk to Carla's girls. I mean, I could. One of them would um
Oh,
talk to
and
me.
that, yeah, that was another thing. I couldn't talk to them about it because they love you so much. There was no way I was going to do that.
Right. I didn't talk to my kids about it either. You
Right?
know, it was you and me. It
Yep.
was you and me, the whole thing. It was about you and me. But I also couldn't go and try to insert myself into like the grandbabies, because Carla takes care of them every day, right? So I had felt such loss in that area. When you're not in communication with somebody, it's not just about them. It's about everything. It affects everything.
It does.
So actually looking at ourselves and, yes, shadow work. But when I say shadow work, like I just said in my video, everybody, I think to be a good human being, we should do shadow work. Do I think that you need a psychiatrist or psychologist to do shadow work? Absolutely not. I do not. Do I think that it could be beneficial? Absolutely. And
Exactly.
just
Therapy
even
can be very beneficial,
absolutely, nobody's not saying that. The only even, and that's another thing that was twisted in that video, was that we were saying that uh, psychiatrists and stuff are
I agree.
you know are charlatans. No, we were not talking about people actually in their private practices helping people. We were talking about charlatans that make money off of
Social.
perpetuating this division on social media. That was another thing that was twisted.
Yeah.
Our words were twisted.
Yep.
So, but I understand that that comes from a place of only hearing from your pain and not hearing from an open and understanding, compassionate heart. You're just experiencing from your wound. And as much as I would like to say I understand when people lash out,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'd like to say that I understand when people lash out because of the pain that they've suffered, it's still not an excuse.
Right. Right.
Wearing a victim badge is not an excuse for turning around and treating somebody else in the same manner in which you're trying to preach about. Okay? Sorry.
I agree with
It's
that.
not an excuse.
It's not an excuse, and that's exactly why we had to forgive each other, because it's exactly what we did to each other.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
So
I love my sister. My gosh, I'm not, in order forgiveness starts here, actually first.
forgiving ourselves, exactly right. For the emotions, listen, I told Carla, we've talked about this. I don't regret what we went through. I don't. Was it painful? Oh my God, it was the worst pain I think I could ever imagine feeling, and I don't ever want to feel it again, okay? Is not requesting you take sides and be an indecisive tool to cause decisions. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But I don't even remember what I was saying. I'm so squirrely, I swear to God.
I
How did you guys go past it? Because forgiveness works only with better actions. We stopped honestly caring. When Carla had heard what this person did, her first response was, "Oh, I wish," because in truth, Carla had already blocked this person from
mm,
like a year, what, year and a half ago.
something like that.
So I think that was part of the problem also, because the conversations that I had with this person, what she approached me because of something that she felt bad about. And then she said that I bended her ears for hours and hours with my abuse that's all like made up now, because diminishing everything that I've been through. Because, of course, her pain is more important than what mine is. When we do that, we are dismissing other people, we are dismissing their pain. That's another reason why I try to have the most uplifting and empowering messages on my channel, because we all suffer from pain. We all do. To think that another person's pain is less than mine because of what they went through is ridiculous.
Ravneet, my forgiveness came from understanding my own
Why?
projections and the things I was doing, owning up to it, my own judgments. It's like no one was coming right out and going, Carla, you are very, very judgy. But
Right.
it was subtly, hinted, and I'm like, wow, maybe I am, and I had to actually take a look at my own actions and knowing myself and like, you know what? Okay, I am all these things. I'm good and bad all rolled up into one.
Mhm.
And if I come off like I
Yes,
am
it
this
does.
self-righteous, that's all that other person is hearing. I'm not, I have to really be accountable for my own bullshit. And once I was, I was like, well, shit, I guess if I can be this way, and yes, I can, other people are going to come from that place. And I keep thinking of a wounded animal, you know,
Mhm.
the wounded animal that, especially if it's one that you've loved, and it doesn't matter, say something happens to it and it's in pain. And I don't know how many times mom would tell us, don't touch the animal because it's going to bite you.
Right.
It doesn't mean to, it doesn't mean it doesn't love you, but it's going to bite you. And it's like,
Right.
to me,
Wow.
that is a powerful uh parallel of what we go through.
Understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're so wounded, and until we understand our own wounds, we're still projecting from that place. And yes,
exactly.
yeah,
That's what I was trying to get to, but I'm so wordy and I lose my
it's
because when I brought that to Carla's attention, she was just like, I don't care. I
yeah,
don't care. I did the same thing. I understand where it came from. And I told her the same thing. She says, I've talked like that also about you. And I go, I know, and I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. That doesn't matter. All that matters is this relationship. So we're not saying that our relationship is perfect and that we're not going to have to work on things because we're both very strong individuals, very opinionated and blah, 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 blah. And we're sisters. And there is that like sisterhood wound that can happen. You know what I mean? Same with mothers and daughters, same with sons and fathers. It is very prevalent.
this.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
yes. It's if something is
Ongoing.
bothering you and it doesn't have anything to do with you, you've got something to work out. And
Yes.
so it's freeing. It's tears and all any release and being so honest with yourself. It is freeing. It's
Yes, it is.
painful,
Yeah.
but it's freeing. This really got to me with the whole self-love February too. you
Mm.
know? Yeah, that was
Radical acceptance and radical love because ultimately we are just human beings, right? That was another comment I seen under this person's videos was that somebody is so tired of hearing like past life stuff
talk.
and toxic positivity. But when you diminish how somebody else believes that that might be a part of it, you are truly spiritually bypassing somebody else's beliefs. And you know what? It takes self awareness to understand that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but it
it
does.
it does. That's my opinion too. But
I wanted to
sometimes we
say that
don't.
that's what I do first, but I don't.
I know, see, sometimes we don't, and that's the whole thing. It's like, but knowing that about ourselves is so important, knowing that we can be all of these things. What is it? I'm a bitch. That Meredith
Yes.
Baxter song. Is that, yeah, I love that song
And you
because,
wouldn't want me any other way,
yeah,
right? Yes.
I'm all of them things.
Yes. I'm telling you, this could not have come at a better time than with what Courtney's doing this month.
I
Because a lot of these wounds do come from this right now.
and
Right now.
I did that to my kids, Amber, and it wasn't intentional, but believe me, they're working through that now. My middle daughter has all the same problems I had, and it's like I feel horrible, but I've sat down and I've talked to her. I'm like, tell me anything, and I'm so sorry that I let you down because that was not my intention. It's
You
it's
were just a
never
human
hard.
going through what you were going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just as I'm okay with being the bad guy in a story if I get to keep my peace. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes we aren't aware until we are. That is their beliefs. Let them believe it. Exactly. Yes. I got really angry when I saw some of the commentary and I stood back and saw where it was coming from. Again, no excuse, but it's pain for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is valid. And I don't dismiss anybody else's pain. If that's what you take from the videos that we have, that we've
That's not,
talked about,
that wasn't the message.
then you're not really listening. You're listening from a place of being wounded rather than listening from a place of understanding and compassion. And if that triggers you, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But the crying feels good.
It does. It's therapeutic.
I don't want to get lost there, but yeah, I'm just sharing because obviously we're all
Yeah.
sisters and we've all been here. My sister's last video, if you haven't watched it, talking about that there's like a major wound that we can feel in the sisterhood, and that's the tearing someone else's voice down, or doing that to another woman. It's like, gosh, we've all been
So painful. It
in these
infuriates me.
places, and we should help each other through this as best as we can, and be there for each other, and have compassion and understanding that we all make mistakes. And gosh, if we can help each other through those, that is so empowering. That is healing. It feels, because you got that wound and you keep picking at it, but when you
Oh,
let it start to heal, it might get a little itchy, but
you're so
once it
good at this,
heals,
Carla, I swear. All these analogies are just perfect. It's like Jesus Christ talking in parables, right? My God, you're so good.
it works for me.
It's
Oh
perfect.
goodness.
The red tent, is that the one about Dinah, the sister of the 12 tribes of Israel, and um having to like go into the red tent when it was time for like periods and stuff like that?
Say that again.
Because
What?
women, and I seen this in Ravneet's video this morning talking about how when a woman is going through her period, many times it would be looked at like, or even in different cultures, but also in spirituality, that women were unholy at that time. So, or I mean, unclean at that time. So they had to be kept apart from others.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I lost custody of the kids when they were little. I made a lot of mistakes, but I worked. Beautiful.
Yeah. I think
Beautiful.
that, when we hold each other to our past mistakes, we're not doing anybody a justice.
No,
Unless it's something that keeps getting repeated, you know what I mean? Then that awareness needs to come to the forefront. But when someone is trying to work through that, and it's obvious when you keep bringing up the past mistakes, it's almost defeating, and it's hard for the person that is trying to be a better person, by holding them to now. It's
right.
now.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to be
It
watching
was so good.
video
I'm
because
telling you, I feel her energy. I want to cry
me
when
too.
I'm around her because I feel like she's, if you're still here, Remy, seriously, I feel your energy so strongly.
Yes.
It is like I have a really good reaction. I resonate with your like frequency.
So do I.
And I can feel it. Oh my gosh, I can feel it. It's beautiful. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and see that, even with my ex-husband, I'm not excusing any of his behavior, because
Right.
it was hurting. It was hurtful, and I wouldn't excuse anyone else's behavior. And the only reason I did encourage the healing was for them, but I always said, I am not, she's still here.
Okay.
Um, I'm not telling you what to do. The choice is yours. It's yours. I knew why I wanted to
Mhm.
forgive, and it wasn't
And
to
accept.
release him of all of it, but I knew he was dying, and I wanted to, help with the whole fear, because God, he was so afraid of dying. He was so afraid of dying.
Carly, you're a good person. It wasn't about you. It was about being there for him, right?
Yeah. And
That
my
takes
and my
strength and
babies
courage
and
and
his
compassion.
family.
Exactly.
They had just, they just lost their grandpa, my ex-husband's dad. They lost him just a few
Mhm.
months before, and then their nana, like a couple years before that. So, Ed lost them too.
Right. Right.
It was a lot of loss.
My mom, we were in a conversation with my mom a couple of days ago, and that's another thing where the light has just come back in that as well because my mom can actually FaceTime us like she did right in the beginning of this, right? Um, and she FaceTimes both of us at the same time. So we're constantly having three-way talks all the time. My mom is going through a whole lot of stuff right
Oh
now.
my goodness,
And the
yes,
fact
she
that we
is.
have come back together just means the world to her as well. But in that discussion, she said, "Well, I was reading up on narcissism." And she goes, "I'm a narcissist." We go, "Mom, you're not a narcissist. You do have those tendencies.
Mhm.
Okay, but we all do, especially when we're in pain. But if you can honestly say that everything that you did didn't come from necessarily a wounded place, this is just my take on it. Again, don't come for me. This is just my take on it. But if if you are coming from a place of no emotion and it's really what you want to do is hurt the other party, right?
Right.
Then I would call that, from my own understanding, somebody that truly has narcissism, not somebody that's coming from a wounded place. And then it just creates this cycle of pain and abuse because it just keeps going back and forth, right?
That's one of the key things that they do look for in that is no empathy. In fact, when I was doing my research for the overlap between the neurodivergence and the narcissism, that's because someone that is neurodivergent can have a lot of empathy. It's just that they don't know, there's no neurotypical response to someone else's pain. But the narcissist does not have empathy. So,
Right.
you really have to know somebody to know what's which is which, you know?
And somebody can definitely suffer from narcissistic abuse, okay? And that other party not be diagnosed as a narcissist because you can't, in my opinion, and it would be unethical. Yes, I agree with that. It would be unethical to diagnose somebody as a narcissist if you've never seen that party and you're only taking one person's word for how that went down, because we see how that can be very jaded from one point of view, right? When we asked your daughter, who this is her field, she
Yes.
just graduated, right, in psychology.
Mhm.
And when we asked her whether or not you can easily just diagnose somebody with narcissism based on what somebody else experienced, and she said, no, it doesn't work like that.
No, in fact, it takes family members, close family members. They don't make a diagnosis without getting other perspectives, other people's involvement, and it's an
Mm,
on. If you've ever had your child tested during school, it's a
yeah,
long process.
yeah,
And wow, Amber, man, yeah, you've been through some shit with your.
definitely. I'm
I'm
so
really
sorry,
sorry, honey.
sweetheart. But this is why these conversations are important.
Yes.
I'm not going to let somebody bully me or try to bully me into silence.
Yep. See,
Live
that's
right
why
away.
we.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yep. A true one would
Yes.
never admit they're wrong. That's another yes. Ooh, see? Yeah.
Exactly.
I knew you had to have some background in that anyway,
Of
because
course.
a
Of
lot of
course.
wisdom in your words. Oh, is when the
Exactly.
patterns were. Oh, see?
That is one of the things that we also learned by watching a lot of those videos. Because when we were going through our bit and I was calling Carla a narcissist and she was calling me a narcissist, you better bet that we were watching tons of videos
Oh,
on
yeah.
them
I have a
from
playlist. It's
therapists.
private right now. But I have a
Exactly.
playlist that because I was
Exactly.
asking myself that same question.
Me
Am
too.
I a narcissist? Well, I think I better find out.
And if you are suffering from a lot of narcissistic abuse, you can also, they become narcissists themselves or exhibit those narcissistic traits. So that was very prevalent in pretty much everything that I watched on it.
Yes. And
Exactly.
hi, Phoenix. Yes, yes. She wants to watch my private list. Yes. Yeah. I'll, I'll share it with you.
Yes.
How I see is most of us operating from our wounded feminine, talking about it, creating space for it, holding, witnessing is all divine feminine traits to heal us. Yeah. Yeah. Because everything we do is projected from who we are, what we're
Where we
carrying.
are.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, perfectly
Lena.
said.
Can't have me crying as I'm driving, ladies, but I love you all.
Be
I could
careful.
just see her in traffic. Somebody's
Yeah,
looking
people
at
are like,
her like,
is she
what
all
is wrong
right?
with that lady? Are you okay? Family members, when you can adapt traits unconsciously,
Mm,
because
yeah.
that's what we've learned. Exactly.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
And it really is because it shows our wounds. Yeah, we're definitely mirrors of our depending on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is
Yeah.
so true and that's the other thing um that I was thinking after the whole video and then watching someone else like twist everything. I'm like, we were only presenting
Um,
our perspective from a place where we were. And again, like you said, and she took something else out of it because her perspective. And
exactly.
I can't really say anything other than I feel like people that are on a healing journey or wanting to heal or wanting to look for something other than holding on to pain or their victimhood, whatever it is, all of it's valid. But the people
Mhm.
that were on the same frequency of that heard the message in the way that it was intended. And when you're not, when you are on a different frequency or whatever that is, holding on to the pain, I could see somebody hearing that because I remember being in that same place. And I just, I couldn't stay there. I couldn't stay there. I wasn't helping anyone else in
No,
that state, except for validating other people that might have felt the same way I did.
we're good at that too.
Yeah.
We're good at
Yeah.
that too. Debbie said, I don't like when terms get thrown around so loosely. Shadow work is another that is misused, really. I agree with that. I do. But I do think that for me, it's just about what the ancients have been saying forever. Know thyself. And the way that we truly know ourselves is through shadow work, right? Looking at, do I think that that's all done with tarot? No, I think that our shadow is revealed to us all the time when we're looking for it, when we pay attention to our own patterns, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot of it for myself when I do shadow work, because I started with the tarot and it wasn't really helping me. So I did end up purchasing a journal. And
mhm,
as much as people talk about shadow work being like having a therapist guide you through it, my therapist wasn't for that. She didn't want nothing to do with the shadow work. That's mystical work from Carl Jung. And I'm like, I love Carl Jung. And even my daughter, who just graduated, was like, no, we're not learning about that. So I actually introduced her to shadow work. So, I mean, there are therapists that are all for it, but mine wasn't. But
right,
it's something
yeah.
that it's not part of the curriculum, put it that
And
way.
maybe
Not,
that's depending on location and country, and
yeah,
I mean,
because
who
I
knows?
know
But and
therapists
not
that use
everybody has access
tarot,
to.
and usually if they're going to use tarot, they're going to probably use the shadow work. So I mean, it's not a guaranteed part of therapy, you know what I mean, or counseling. So I love, learning about shadow work for myself was actually understanding when's the first time I felt like this. And I'm telling you, a lot of it was in the things that happened to me when I was, growing up. I was actually sharing a story with a friend of mine last night because we were talking about silence. And my mom had a boyfriend who was a boxer. His hands were registered weapons, and obviously he was one of those men that sometimes we like the bad boy. I was
Hi, baby. Come
2 or 3, maybe 4.
on.
No, I had to have been about 2 or 3. But you were still in the
A
crib,
baby. Yeah.
and he ended up there that night. My mom knew he was coming, and she made me crawl underneath the bed because she was worried for my safety. So I crawled underneath the bed, and all I saw were, you know, 2 sets of feet, and I heard hollering, and the next thing I know, I see his feet and not hers because he threw her up against a mirror, and I saw the glass shatter on the floor, and she was crumpled on the floor. But she did this to me before she put me under the bed. So I, for even into my young 20s, I'm like, anytime conflict would arise, I would be the first one to not say anything.
And be scared.
Yeah. And I had to understand, where in the heck did that come from? My mom never did that. She never did that to me. And that was her way of protecting me. But that trauma was there, so somebody
Right.
raising their voice, and I'd be like, there were a few times that my mom, because she'd come at me like this, and she wouldn't even have to swing her hand or nothing, but I'd be like this
You're
and
like that.
backing up, like, yeah,
And
and
who was the one that came to your defense many
oh
times?
yeah, you'd be, don't do that to my sister, I mean, but I mean, that's the first time. And she did it because she was trying to protect me, but I lost my voice. And there were many times throughout the years that it took a lot of courage on my part to use my voice. And I am a vocalist. I'd
Don't
always had
talk
that
this
need
stuff.
to share my voice somehow because I've been fighting it, my whole life.
I wanted to go back, Sissy. Courtney said, I am someone with a heavy background of trauma. I don't know much more someone can do to me that wasn't done almost. I don't want to see as that, I don't want to be seen as that broken person. I want to be seen as strong and growing. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell, yes. Warrior woman. Exactly.
And
And haven't women
unfortunately,
throughout history had to be those warrior women because we have been so suppressed, oppressed, abused, and we had to get back up and make dinner and take care of the babies. And you know what?
and so in social
Exactly.
media, when we show that we are victorious and we show the side of us that has healed from those things, someone assumes that we just didn't go through it. And that is the part that really kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously? How can you tell? Because I'm not showing you those things. I'm
Yeah.
here to show you I'm just as real as anyone. And yes, I am so proud of anyone that chooses that. I'm not saying that I'm not proud of anyone that doesn't want to. I just know that, or that, that identifies with that. It's saying that, yes, you went through that. I'm not discrediting that either. It's just, I know how this feels in my own experience, and it's not discrediting anyone else's experience. So
Right.
I'm happy for no matter what somebody chooses, as long as it's helping you. If it's helping you be your best so that you can be the best for the people around you. And I'm nobody to tell you how to do that.
Right. We're missing a whole lot of conversation here, Sissy.
I know. Yeah. It is a good one to work on. I agree. The darker aspects and noticing patterns, not ending those patterns necessarily, but know why we do them and we can better control. Yeah, that's
It has to
yeah,
start somewhere. Yes.
integration. Like, I'm not ashamed of what my mom did. It took understanding, and me, I'm not ashamed of that person either. It's just uh
Acknowledging
yeah,
and understanding.
somebody said something to me last night. She's a very good friend of mine, Linda. She's like, because we were talking about this, and she said, like a tree that has, the tree grows, and say the tree grows around it. You know what I mean? And so as it becomes, an adult or older tree, the tree just kind of grew around it, and it became something different. It didn't grow straight. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't cut the piece out of it because it's a part of the tree now.
See what
So
I'm talking
love
about
it.
with the analogies?
Yeah. But
You're
isn't
so
that
good
is
at it, Sissy.
thank you.
It's true.
Absolutely. I love Courtney, and I love I've learned so much about understanding it. Like, everything, even in the mundane, is so divine and spiritual. And yeah, if you are not subscribed, please do. Same with
And to
Winds of
all the
Perspective.
ladies
All
in this
all the
chat.
ladies in here. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And that's empowering each other. It's empowering our voices when you can't find it in your family, or you can't find it with your coworkers, or just you're going to find it here.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, yes. I do mine too. Yeah, definitely a fangirl.
And what you said does make sense, Debbie. Absolutely.
About the shadow work. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yes, she does.
Yes, absolutely.
I've
Yeah,
had so many private conversations with Courtney over the years.
there's no
And
weakness there. Mm-mm.
oh, she does look at her stuff and her behavior, and she's always trying to make herself better. She's on that journey of truly knowing herself.
Yep.
Okay. And she is a beautiful, strong woman. Hell yeah.
Yes. Oh, thank
Exactly.
you. Thank you. Oh, somebody's seen Oliver.
She's she pointed out Sully too.
Love
She
you
is,
too.
she's a dog mama, okay? And that's another reason I love her so much. Yes, and Courtney, oh gosh. Show your dogs, guys. Please show your dogs. My mother hid me in a dress. Times. Oh my gosh. To avoid being caught up in the abuse. I'm so sorry, sweetheart.
Me too. Yep. Yep. Isn't that what it means to hold space? Is just to listen.
I
And
and her boyfriend beat this. Oh, good God. I'm so
oh,
sorry.
wow. It's, it's a big, big. I am. I'm grateful that you guys are sharing, because this is a safe place. Believe me, if there's anything,
That you
that's where
ever
my
want to
boundaries
say.
come in. If somebody says anything that, yeah, whatever. This is
You
our
guys
space.
ever want a voice on our channel too?
Yes, absolutely.
I would love to
Absolutely.
have, and you know what? Actually, Courtney's got two lives that are coming up this month, and it's going to be talking about a lot of these kind of wounds. The first one, Courtney, can you tell us in the chat really quick, sweetheart, so that everybody knows? Because she's also looking for people that do want to share their voice, and we encourage you to share your voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I just want to make
Yes.
sure I'm not missing. Oh, yeah, but I mean, I claim that too, even though it wasn't meant to
Exactly.
be abusive, but it definitely came up. Mine was I gave them such a neglect wound because I worked and the kids hardly ever seen me, you know, and it definitely affected them bad.
And you are not the person that you were
No,
then. And when you
no,
were operating then, you were probably also coming from a wounded place because of how you were raised, right?
it all comes from somewhere. Yeah, it's just
Abuse creates more abuse.
until we go back and we identify our own bullshit, we keep repeating it, just like we talked about here in the chat. That's the absolute. We just keep repeating it
Absolutely.
until we take responsibility. And when we blame, it kind of I'm not I mean that's where I think the accountability comes in of like, or not accountability, recognizing the awareness, the triggers but having the boundaries when you realize what you can or cannot handle, like you know your own emotional health limits. That the only
Right.
way to do that is to understand yourself. you know
Exactly.
I accepted men abusing me because I thought I was worthless. I thought I couldn't do any better. It starts with walking away and loving yourself and boundaries.
Absolutely, it
So
does.
yeah, very.
You are beautiful.
I
You
hope.
all are beautiful.
Yes, I hope my middle daughter watches this. Actually,
Being unregulated,
my
I'm
oldest
trying to
too.
forgive myself as I didn't know. That's powerful, sweetheart. And I
Yeah,
hope that you do. I hope that you do. Because we're not perfect. None of us are perfect.
it does. It really does.
Hmm.
Yeah, young. He was so wise, and my daughter told me that yeah, they consider him a mystic now.
Hmm.
So it's definitely you don't learn about him through the curriculum anymore.
Hi, Heather. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning. Thank you. Yes.
Exactly.
And
Well
there
done,
is no
beautiful.
judgment, no
Yep,
judgment because we all,
absolutely.
it's just that sometimes if it's not brought into the light, people don't know, right?
Exactly right. Yes.
That's right.
That's one of my boundaries.
Yep.
I give support where I feel support because of my own people pleasing years. I have played that supportive role so many times, and when I needed support, they weren't there. So, and I'm not talking about my sister, okay? Just to put that out there, I am most definitely not talking about my sister. I'm talking about like personal friendships and stuff like that that I
Right.
have experienced. And that was just as much my fault because I allowed it, okay? And that's not me victim blaming, but it is me understanding, like you said, Carla, or acknowledging my part in that, okay?
Yeah. Yep. And I so agree with this.
Yes.
We do. Yep.
On my siblings and I. My whole family keeps repeating the same cycles of abuse for generations now. That's how it happens,
It
unfortunately.
is. And
And it's sorry. Go ahead.
you're the one that has the control now to make your choice from this point forward. And it, man,
And
I'll
it
tell you,
starts from seeing it, right? It
it
starts
does.
from recognizing it.
Yep. It does start from recognizing. It's the only.
Yeah. Yes. You
Yep.
know, one of the biggest things that I have learned is that if you don't talk to your children about these things, it is worse for them because they make up these stories in their own minds of why they are the blame for it
Oh
or
my
how this
goodness.
could
Yep.
happen because of them, right? So it's Protecting is not communicating with your child. Protecting is talking and teaching your children about human behavior and how it's not about them and it's about wounds and stuff like that, right?
And it's so sad right now, like, I'm a child caregiver, and I get like 10 credit hours a year in certain classes that, but the theme around all of it, if I was to summarize it, is learning that all behavior is communication.
Mhm.
So, definitely how we treat each other and how we talk to each other is so important, because when we are hurt, when we're wounded, it's easy for somebody to manipulate us. Why? Because we start believing those things that they say to us. We start, well, I feel this way, so it must be true, but it's not. It's
Um,
not. You're let
right,
It's my opinion that when you let yourself be defined, it's easy to find validation in other people's words that don't know you. They don't
right.
know you. They don't know your struggles. They don't know who you're trying to be, which is who you've always wanted to be. And that's part of being progressive, and understanding that,
Mhm.
just because I am this light and dark being, where do I want to project from? Where is it that what do I want to share? Do I want to share? No, but that's a personal choice, It's just how we treat each other is just, it's really important. It's really, because it does show who you
Yes,
are.
it does show. Actions always speak louder than somebody's words.
Hmm.
Always. First life is sharing the pain of what women go through due to imbalance in our world. The second, yes. And the dates for those, do you have those in the amethyst, or not the amethyst, the divination and spirituality group, or have you put an announcement on your channel, sweetheart, so that people know the dates and stuff so that they can come to it? Surviving, is
Oh,
thriving.
yeah. Did you
Yes,
read that? Yeah. I'm
yeah.
at, yeah.
What did she say? You're going too fast, sissy. I can't
Sorry.
keep up. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. We're not. We're not. And for someone else
Exactly
to
right.
hold that guilt that's a whole
The
other,
mom shaming is a whole
yeah.
big
Yeah.
that just infuriates
And it
me.
happens a lot, especially with broken families. One of the things I had to learn is you can't talk about the other parent in a derogative or in a demeaning manner, because, the children are absorbing everything. And they
Um,
should be allowed, they're going to see those things for themselves without being manipulated. I know it's hard. All you can do is protect them, you know.
but if you have done that, just
Yeah,
forgive yourself
forgive
and
yourself.
just do the best that you can do going forward because we all make those stupid mistakes too, okay? We're
Yeah,
all human.
exactly. We're all going to make those mistakes. That's how we learn, is by making those mistakes. At least those are the ones that I've retained, on learning from, are the ones that I actually made those mistakes for myself. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I love this community too very much.
I'm
Oh,
sure that you have a
see?
lot a lot of wisdom that you have learned, Angela, over
Absolutely.
the years of being a social worker. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Wow, yes. Yes.
Yeah, please go through and I think most of you are, but definitely.
Yes. Surrender. Yes. Ooh. Staying strong for too long is also
Mhm.
toxic. Yeah, that's why I'm really looking forward to the um sacred rage and all of that, because,
Mhm.
I still get pissed. you know. I I just, very rare are you going to see me coming on and going, you know what?
Like my mom says, she'll go through and she's doing her work in the morning. She's just
Oh,
bitching up a storm, you know.
but when I drive, especially
Oh
by
my God.
myself. Yeah, she
Yeah.
actually saw this the other day. My mom did. She was in the car with me, and I'm driving. I'm like, boy, those cars just timed that just right, don't they? Here I am sitting waiting to get out, and they're just timing it just right, so I can't get out. And then we pull into Dollar General. Obviously, I'm just projecting and being a ding dong, but I pull into the Dollar General, and then I get out, and I'm like,
I'll have to go lucky or whatever.
she was like this. She was like, just real quiet. Yeah, I got a dual personality. Yep. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds excellent. Yep. That you can do for someone in grief and pain is just hold space. Yes.
Right.
Listen. Yeah. Yeah, I had to do anger management too. Yep. Yep. It's very helpful. I did it in a group setting. So that really, boy, that helped. Surrender. Yes.
You guys are all so wise. I swear.
Oh, okay.
Well, what?
Definitely do some
Give us
videos.
some ideas, guys. What kind of hashtag? Sharing our story, or I mean, I don't know.
Awareness is key. Yes, it is.
Sharing awareness hashtag, or
Just add a sub tag to the feminine tag. Anyone who wants to share their story. Ooh, that's
there
a
you
good
go.
one. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And continue to grow, heal, and thrive. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And couldn't watch too lately. Yes, you did, because I know. Oh. But you know,
that's being responsible.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So beautifully said.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Exactly.
So we know that's how we create better boundaries.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Let me write that down right quick. Although I don't think that we need to do a pretty good job, and there's probably going to be more videos, but
yes. 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 All right. Woohoo. I will post them today in the group. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love you. I love, love, love all of you.
love.
Yes. Yes.
It's been years since I've had friends.
Well, you got a friend in me.
You got a friend in me. Yeah.
Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. To me, it does take strength to share the journey. So we are all very strong and supporting each other. And it is through that we're finding even more strength. And our voices are going to be heard. And hopefully people listen and not respond. I think we just do ourselves an injustice unless we're responding with not anything about another person as much as it is just about sharing our journey, because that's what it's for, right?
Elizabeth said that she's got to take off, and she's sending us all hugs. Love you, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Back to
yes,
you.
Thank you. And what is that? Oh, it's to Courtney's channel.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, bye, Heather. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, beautiful lady.
All right.
Oops. Beautiful. That's okay. Elizabeth's channel.
Okay. All right. So I think we pretty much, I think we got all the
all make
comments.
Mistakes.
Mom shaming is another topic coming later in the month's work to lady. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. See, these are all real things that we all experience, and, in one way or another, because it's coming from somebody that is very wounded. You know what I mean? And we've been that person. So, I mean, to think we're sharing topics that are real and they're raw,
Oh,
and I think it's going to be so helpful, and I'm excited to get all teary-eyed and I truly am, though, honestly, because it's
I don't like crying. I don't like other people seeing, because I've always thought of it as weakness, but that's another part for me, that these tears that I have been crying a lot lately, every single damn day, it feels like I have, but it's because they're like tears of joy, tears of release and relief, and not of anger, not of sadness, but of feeling whole again, and feels good.
there. I My ex-husband
So
and the
sorry.
woman he was with, their oldest son did things to my daughter, and instead of believing her, they wanted nothing to do with her. And through all of that, they pointed the finger at me like I was such a horrible person. And then my youngest daughter felt like she had to choose because she loved her dad and her stepmom very much. So it was really, I was shamed for standing up for my middle daughter.
Mhm.
And my youngest daughter didn't understand it. There was so much trauma from that. I mean, everybody was hurt. Every single one of us were hurt. And I remember when I would spend time, my youngest is now a psychologist, you know what I mean? Or she's working on her she's graduated, she's got her bachelor's, so she's not an actual psychologist, but that's her field. And I remember sitting
She
with
has a
her.
job in that field
Oh
now,
yeah,
has
she's
been, right?
a behavioral therapist.
Okay.
She I remember sitting in the car with her, and she just, I could, you know how even if somebody's not saying something, you can feel it.
Mhm.
She was so mad at me for even saying anything, for standing up for her sister, because she didn't believe her either. But she was so mad at me, and she was like, I think she just didn't understand why I had to do that. Why couldn't I just keep the peace?
Mm.
But it was so hard, especially she's going back over to her dad's, and they would say all sorts of horrible things about me to her. And so, I mean, she thought that it was right. And all I remember saying is you want to go to therapy with Faith and I? And she finally did. She finally did. And that's where, again, sometimes, like then, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't have this community for one.
Mhm.
And I Taylor came in, and it wasn't a cure all, but at least all of our voices were heard, and we had somebody there to kind of like guide the conversation, so there wasn't all the hurt and the anger being projected at each other. So I will always, always recommend that for anyone, because we don't have all those answers, and someone that is trained will have at least the tools to help guide us. And when you find a good one, hang on, a good therapist or whatever, it's definitely hang on.
Let me mute myself. Dogs.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's another one. Oh my goodness. That was one of the things that I learned in my childcare. Adverse childhood events grow up to be lots of health issues. Absolutely. Heart, lungs. Oh my goodness. That's a big one. And that was a study that was, I think, started in 2016. When I first learned about that, I was automatically thinking about Carl Jung. He's the father of shadow work. He's the guy that sits there and goes, "Tell me about your childhood." And now for that to be, you know, more of mystical work. I'm just like, what? And so this new study is really bringing that back into play because they're actually finding correlations. Actual scientific study, Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. My sister has a lot of excellent decks on there. And yes, see, yeah, because it's all valid. And even if something wasn't the point, like say they were, there's a reason for everything because all behavior is communication. And we're just
Honestly,
don't
guys,
know.
I'm sorry. I'm hardly ever on Instagram. So if you leave me a message, please excuse me because I might not see it for a week. Okay? I'm hardly ever on there. Just put that out there. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it breaks my
I'm
heart.
so sorry. Oh,
Definitely understand. And that's all we can do is just say, because it shows how human we are and the mistakes that we made by telling your child, I didn't mean to let you down and I'm so sorry that I did, but I'm here now. And it makes a big difference.
yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely runs in our family. Rheumatoid arthritis,
Oh yeah.
arthritis.
Yep.
Carly, you've got eczema and gout. Gout is an
Yeah.
extreme form of arthritis, which I do suffer from. Emotionally, I have had gout when I'm emotionally distraught. Yes.
Yeah. And even Freud was like, I
Yeah.
just can't get behind it because it's too spiritual. Really? Okay. That's
He
why
was
I have
ahead of
a
his
hard.
time. Let's put it that way.
I
Okay.
think that, yeah, they might be two separate things, spirituality and psychology, but well-being comes from psychology and well-being heals the spirits. I
They're
think
definitely intertwined for
they
me.
work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. You guys are so amazing. Thank you, Phoenix. Oh, I appreciate you too. Very, very much. She is. She's a good woman.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. I haven't really been on there since last year. I need to take that off. It's one of those things I felt, but they don't fire you once you're on the platform. So, yeah. Uh, yes. And letting them know that we're human too, but nothing bad was intentional and we love them. Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Because everyone's going to be affected by the trauma. It's wow, everyone's perspective is going to be different. That's yeah, here's the other, what's that? Like you see a long rectangle, now you see a cube of sorts. Now you might see a shorter I mean, it just depends on where we are what we see. It's truth, right? It's true.
Told you. Carla, she does it. How many has that been now? Four? 4 or 5 in this conversation. He throws the stones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the wave,
Stop. Stop. I love you, Carla.
Oh, mhm. That is awesome.
That's
I love
wonderful.
that is awesome. Man, it does help so much.
That's
I always,
oh,
kids, you want some tarot?
exactly.
Yeah, all right. And then they sit down and I'm like, here, you have your own deck. You can have your own deck. It's family time.
Did you see what Phoenix said? Quit talking nice about me. You're ruining my bad reputation.
Oh, psych means soul.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
We
Appreciate
appreciate you too.
See, we should all be around a big old campfire,
Singing
singing
Kumbaya.
songs. Yeah. Hallelujah. Yep.
Talking about their issues is also
Yes.
being dramatic. Gaslighting too. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm sorry. What, Revney? Yes. Oh my gosh.
I agree. It's just
That's why
dismissing people is one of my pet peeves. I
Mhm.
not really,
Exactly.
yeah.
So when you're too emotional or you're too dramatic. No.
Yep.
I think everybody should tell their story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody. And I hope that people feel so emboldened and empowered and safe enough to tell their stories.
I do too. I do too. Sorry, I'm getting a notification there. I think that
And I
our
love you
voices
too,
are all
Courtney.
valid. I love
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, they are. Just, yes. You decorate, girlfriend. I love decorating. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit ahead of you, sissy.
Okay. All right. Internalized BS. Yep. Oh, okay.
She's decorating her room. Love it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yes.
Yep. Your
If we
divas are
stand up.
dramatic or too emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep. And
Yes.
this is true. This is true. It's when we're I don't know. I think that we all do it. My sister and I were talking about this morning. It is we all do it for exactly that reason is just to vent. You know, it's what we do
Exactly.
with the information that speaks volumes on our intentions.
Instead of sharing our feelings, because when we do and become empowered in how we're feeling, good God, that gives
Yeah.
women too much power, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
words like gossipy or conspiracy theorist or crazy or whatever have been used, right?
Yes. Yep.
Driving
Mm.
home and listening. I love you all so much. Thankful for this wonderful group of empowered. We are so thankful for you.
You guys
And
have
I
any
feel so bad that
questions?
you had to go to the post office and Walmart. Icky.
This is truth right here.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it would be so boring if we were all alike and we all had the same opinions. We wouldn't be
Yep.
challenging each other to think outside the box,
Yep.
and listening to each other. Exactly. There's a difference between tearing someone down and venting to a friend.
Right. Exactly.
And it's essential because when you leave that shit inside, oh my gosh, it festers
And becomes worse.
yeah.
And that friend might say, well, have you thought about it from this point of view? And you go, oh, damn, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Right? Give you
Yes.
maybe a different perspective. That's how we work through our shit, or
Yep.
how we can work through our shit.
Mother's wedding Monday. High tea. Oh.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
See, we're both like,
Yeah, right.
we're sorry, Selena.
Oh, see there. I love you, Debbie. Yeah.
I'm exploding to some poor slob.
Yep. Yes. Me too, because I mean everyone sees things differently and I think that
Yes,
listening is just expanding our own
exactly.
perspective. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Ooh, Selena, at least it's over now." We're all like, "Oh God, no, get out
We're like, oh, hugs, because that had to have been, it probably
It's
was.
like this, like crystals
Yeah,
here and
yeah, just to go through the. Oh, okay.
oh,
Once a month sounds good to me. I'd be all in on that.
yep, I'm
I've
I'm
been
all
that.
for it too. Bust
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, see,
um,
I'm looking forward to that because,
me too.
yeah, just because I have a front here of showing all the good things as much as I can, I get pissed off
She
like
needs a full-blown cleanse.
yeah, I do. That is
I
for
need a cleanse
sure.
by association. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just yep.
Just the thought of you going out to Walmart.
A support Zoom. Man, what that's what
Yes,
we need. We
I'm
need
all for it.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, yes, it is. And I'm so here. And week
It's
3,
going to get worse
there's
though.
two spreads. One is Hell Hath No Fury, and the other one is Lilith. And if anyone has a really good bitch with the patriarchy, and it's not about the patriarchy, but it kind of is also because that's who's been leading this simulation, right?
Yes. Yes. Where she's at, oh, headed to Dunkin' now to make and
I
we'll get
love
to see each
you.
other's faces. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sounds
Yes.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Ashley. Hi.
Hi.
Good friend of mine. It's nice to see you here. I'm excited about Rach. I know. It's like, yeah, that's why a lot of people they see me drive and they're like, why do you always look so angry? And I'm like, that's when I let it out. I'm like this. I'm a defensive driver, and unfortunately, yeah, my face shows it. They're like, "Yeah, I was gonna wave, but then I thought, no, I better not." I'd be like, when somebody waves at me, then I'm like this. I'm
Thank
like,
you, sweetheart.
then I go right back down. Bye, Debbie.
Love you, Debbie.
Oh,
Ooh, hot fudge, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yep.
Yes. I'm here for it,
I think
okay?
most people show Rachel.
Yes.
I'm
There is
working
like
through that, though. I
it's your
am working
thing.
through that. I'm like not like it used to affect my driving. Now it's a bitch session. And it's usually with myself, you know. Unless somebody's in the car and I forget they're there. That happens too. But yeah, yeah. And then but I used to like, oh, that was bad. I'd be like, pull over. And
Carla's like halfway out the window going, "You stupid."
oh, or I would swerve into people.
Oh my God, Carla. That's not
Yeah,
good.
it was bad. It was really bad. I had
Anger
to work
management.
anger management, exactly. I had to work through that, and yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in there. It's in there, and that was once I realized I could just bitch. You know what I mean? And it's so funny, and I like to do it by myself because it's like, yeah, they can't hear me, and that's when
But they're watching. Like,
I
what the
say
hell
all
is going
sorts.
on over there?
Yeah, I am too. I'm like, but when I get out of the car, I'm like, it's gonna be a good day. You know?
It is a real thing, though. I learned about this like umpteen years ago with Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, that book. One of the things that he talks about is um like the the pain body, but when you get behind a wheel, there's so much frustration and stuff because people are late, they're trying to get to work, or somebody just cut them off. There's just like so much rage that is around that energy. Like like an egregore. It's created like its own egregore. So when you get in a vehicle,
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
you automatically like put your frequency into that egregore. And it's a real friggin' thing.
Yeah, I probably need to
Seriously.
cleanse my car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And cue Metallica music. Did you see what she said?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Rage Against the Machine. Oh, yeah. Now, see, that's one thing too I noticed. Like, if I don't listen to music, um, I am calmer. But if I'm looking for a certain frequency, then I know if I play that, I won't go into that whole defensive, like, so that's another thing that's actually helped me is the music. If I'm feeling like I really just want to get some shit out, then that's when I do put on the, you know, and then I'm singing. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Girl, you're missing so much, sissy. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
Phoenix Fire, my rage song. You've got another thing coming. I love it. Or Breaking the Law. Breaking the
Yeah.
Law.
Yeah. Breaking the law. Yeah.
Love it, man.
I
You
do
got
too.
another thing coming.
Ooh,
Yeah,
dirty
hell
little
yeah.
secret. Yeah. That would be a really good have a playlist for that. Yeah. And it gives a high to speed up rage driving. Yeah.
Juice.
Judas Priest. Yep. Yep.
Wow, that is excellent. Yes, that is
Music
really
is
cool.
life. Yes, it is.
Oh,
I love music. 90s alternative, believe me, that's I've got a
love it.
whole playlist dedicated to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
I
yeah.
love it. It's a wheel within a wheel, and the transportation wheel has its own God. I don't play
Yes,
ball
it
with
does.
traffic if I don't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I have like major anxiety because people that are empathic, it seriously, you feel it as soon as you get behind the wheel, you feel it.
It's
Woo, woo,
Debbie.
woo. Debbie, you're awesome.
Yes, yes, and that's the other thing that's like, so knowing because I'm very like if the kids are in the car, the whole I mask. I mask. I'm a high masker. Now there are times when other people on the road, because like I said, I'm a defensive driver. When there's other people on the road, then I'm like, how dare somebody drive? This is my mind saying
Like
this.
that while I've got a child in the vehicle, right?
Exactly. But
Um,
whether they know it or not, I'm thinking that in my head. Why do you drive like that? Don't you understand that these things kill people? If I'm like,
mhm.
yeah.
I never mask.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that? Oh yeah, reggae fan. Yeah, some pasta beats. Yeah.
Pasta beats. She said Rasta beats, hating my keyboard right now. I said we should
I
all
was some
know
good pasta
Taiwanese,
beats
right?
too. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I love all music. My playlist has a whole bunch of stuff on it. Oh, there was an article on it. Wow, yeah, must be a lot of people noticed.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I that's when my anxiety started years and years ago. Carla and I were talking about it the other day.
Mhm.
When I would pick up my daughter from high school,
Mhm.
the parking lot and the amount of anger for people and the amount of angst that
Yes.
the teenagers were feeling as they're getting out of school every day, I would just be like a wreck, just sitting there waiting, trying to get a good space. Because also the teenagers would just walk out in front of people that are moving vehicles. They wouldn't even be looking. It's just like, oh,
Yeah, that's
my
how
heart
I
was
am when
like
I'm
going
picking
this.
up kids.
Oh,
I usually will get to the school like 45 minutes early so I can get a good parking spot.
man.
No lie. 45 minutes early, I'm there. Because I don't like, yeah, I don't like fighting for a parking spot. I go everywhere really, really early. Because,
Yes. Ashley says Walmart is a simulation like traffic is too. I swear. Oh yeah.
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's stuff that happens there that you don't see anywhere else, right?
Yep.
Like it's loud. It's Walmart. You know? Oh.
With a passenger princess while my boyfriend drives. Yeah.
I'll say to my husband, because my husband's name is James, I'll go, drive James.
Yeah. I love that. That's hilarious. Yep.
Drive James.
Yep. Yep. I my driving is like I said, my kids even say I drive like a grandma because I'm extremely cautious. So it's like,
She's like this.
I am. And you've been on the phone with me a few times while I'm driving, usually because I'm always driving. So, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, and people are just the rudest.
They
You
are.
get their
Well,
car, they just stand there and just, oh
mm,
my gosh, man. What the hell is happening with society and just rudeness?
to them
When
all.
you say excuse me and they
To them
just look
all.
at you and just stand there. Like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. It makes me extremely nervous. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be
For topics to think about or discuss. Yeah, that
we're
sounds good.
probably gonna do yeah, we're probably gonna do another one talking about more of our journey back to each other and what we see because we did get off topic quite a bit
Yeah.
in
Yeah, and
this
I think
video.
that oh yeah. 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 Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone had any questions, but I think that yeah, maybe just talking more cuz honestly when you revisit the childhood, then you understand a lot of the things that happened with the build up to the falling out was our own perceptions of our family dynamics. That's a lot of things that I think
Mhm.
happen when you have siblings for one. You might have uh the same parents, but you might get parented differently. And then, the other sibling looks at it and thinks, wow. And then same, I mean, and there was some stuff that happened. We were poor, and there was
Oh yeah.
sacrifices that had to be made. And, you know,
Things that we just want to talk about.
yeah, yep.
And maybe we'll even start having people come on and sharing some of what they feel comfortable to share, you
I
know?
think it can only help. You know what I mean? Sharing your journey does help someone else,
Oh,
especially if they're trying to work through something because that's like it's group therapy.
it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Just Rochelle and I with my mom and my dad, but my dad had two other daughters that we don't ever see. Our
Yeah.
dad was psychotic, paranoid, schizophrenic.
Diagnosed.
Right.
Yes.
Hmm.
That was a whole other wound that we both
Yeah. He
suffered
was in
from.
prison for most of our lives.
And we would go and visit him in prison when we
Hmm.
were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got therapy and got a diagnosis myself in my 20s. So, and
I've
I
only
got
been
a
to a therapy
second
session one time.
opinion.
I
Yeah,
only
I've
went to a
been,
therapy session. Sorry.
no, you're fine. I was just going to say I've been in and out of it. Yeah.
Only one time. And that was couples therapy with my husband and I years ago. And what that therapist said to us was like transformational. And it seems so simple, but not everybody is self aware. And so my husband and I, we kept on fighting because he was raised differently than I was. And when I would say something, he would hear something completely different than what my intention was, and vice versa. Right. And so when the therapist said, okay, now, Rochelle, I want you to repeat back to Jim what you just heard him say. And when he would hear when I would say it back to him, he would go, well, that's not what I said. I'm like, well, that's what I heard because of blah, 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 and vice versa. And it changed the dynamics of our relationship because of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that, sis, because that is
Mhm.
an excellent place to start.
That was umpteen years ago. That's an actual term, umpteen.
Umpteen. Yeah. It is in the dictionary, I think.
We've been together like 35 years. And it's not that we haven't had our knockdown, drag out fights. We have, but we continue to choose each other and continue
Ooh, okay.
to work on our relationship. You know what I mean? And our dynamics.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's a whole other thing too. Oh my gosh. Now, see,
Mhm.
I had lots of codependent relationships, and then till I didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's even a test that you can go and take to see what your attachment style is. I don't have my attachment style is healthy, but a lot of people's are not, and they don't realize it until they see like certain patterns.
Yeah.
But I think that it was because of the relationship that I had with my husband that it helped me work through a lot of wounds that I had.
Yes. Yes. Because when I
Yes,
got my second opinion, she told me
I
I was
agree with
having
that.
something called a manic episode. We can get lost in our depression and all things can stem from that, but it's addressing where it starts. That's why
Mhm.
I am a fangirl of Carl Jung, because yeah, a lot of things, symptoms will manifest. And if they
Mhm.
diagnose you just on the symptoms, I can't get behind that. I just can't. And modern psychology, sometimes, like what my daughter's learning right now, we've had long, lengthy discussions. I think that there's a lot of improvements, but I still feel that psychoanalysis is very, very important. Very
Important.
important.
Exactly. I think so too. Essentially, that is shadow work, right?
Yes, it absolutely is. Yeah, same. We were too. We were too. And then I ended up doing it to mine because I kept making excuses. I got to work. I was poor and I kept picking the wrong men and I had to be the money
Main
maker
breadwinner. Mhm.
and mom, and I wanted to be a rock star, and everybody's telling me you can do it all. Well, guess who suffered?
The
My
kids
children.
did. Yeah.
Thank, thank you. I'm grateful to be able to finally share certain things. It does feel good. It's more of that release and healing.
Yes, absolutely. It is more than a label. There's spiritual implications. Yes, there
Yep.
is.
Oh gosh.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
We should probably wrap this up since it's almost two
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, I've learned a lot actually with you guys talking in the chat and sharing your parts of your journey. So this has been amazing. And I am really looking forward to doing more of this. So
Mhm.
I thank you. And yeah, we're gonna say goodbye, but yeah, be looking.
I
And
agree with that, Tony. Yes.
Ravneed had asked earlier how to get the notifications. I think if you see a video, and I don't know if you do it on the channel, you might have to do it on the channel, but there's this little bell that you can click and you will be notified when we go live or if there's some type of premiere coming up. I think that's how you do that. So
And you can't always depend on that because lots of times I don't even get notifications, unfortunately. They kind of fall through the cracks.
yes. Yes, a trigger is definitely a sign that we have something to look at, something within ourselves, I think. I agree with that. Yeah, see, I think so. Now,
Yeah.
there is, like Rochelle and I were talking about, there's also this whole umbrella when you start to research what narcissistic personality disorder is. It can actually be a genetic disorder. Autism can be a genetic disorder. My granddaughter, she is a level 10 autistic, and she has sensory processing disorder also. And hers came from a deleted third chromosome. And there's a lot of other things that actually can manifest later on, that are symptoms of having that third chromosome depletion. So even NPD can fall under that. In fact, that's another reason why it's so rare to actually diagnose it, because it takes more than just analyzing somebody's trauma. It could be an actual neurological disorder, and a lot of times it is. So, I mean, I recommend anybody do all the research. On the last video, I did add some links, but most of my information has come from my daughter, and what she's learned. And then, actual like reading articles about it, instead of like, I don't know, just researching. I think we all have that capability to do that for ourselves, and just,
Yes.
it helps.
Excuse me.
It helps. So, all right. I think, yeah. I think I missed a lot, but I think I'm going to go back and look at all this anyway. And I just want to say thank you again. And
if you guys want to, sorry, Sissy, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no,
before
you're
we
fine.
end it, if you want to also speak about these things with us on, other videos, and you feel comfortable and safe enough to do that, and we've always got your back, trust me, okay? I mean, come hell or high water, I got your back. So let them come for me. But, let
We're
us
going to be
know.
there to support you.
Right. And as you can see, there's other people that are also supporting you in your voice as well.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
So let us know.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. I love you guys, and I am very grateful for this space, and so grateful for you guys. So thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, you whispering.